I want you to imagine or remember your first year in college or your first year in the real world outside of school, excited to start somewhere new and imagining all the freedom you'll have. It's thrilling yet nerve-wracking, but your parents are making all the decisions for you and you end up with no freedom at all. According to an interview done by The Slate, that was the reality for one student. One kid's father threatened to divorce her mother if the daughter didn't major in economics. It took the student 7 years to finish instead of the usual 4. And along the way, the father micromanaged his daughter's every move, including requiring her to study off campus at her uncle's every weekend. At her father's insistence, the daughter went to see one of her econ professors during office hours one weekday. She forgot to call her father to report how it went, and when she returned to her dorm later that evening, her uncle was in the dorm lobby looking visibly uncomfortable about having to force her to call her dad and update him. Later, that student told me, "I pretty much had a panic attack from the lack of control in my life." But an economics major she was, and her parents got divorced anyway. This story clearly shows the dangers of crossing the line from being supportive to being a helicopter parent who seeks to control nearly every part of a child's life. The modern term helicopter parenting is a parenting style which the parent has feelings of being overprotective towards their child in controlling a manner, communicating to the child that they have a lack of competence. This kind of emotional pressure takes away a child's ability to make personal choices and replaces it with fear and obligation. On the opposite side of the spectrum, some parents provide little to no structure, allowing them to roam around freely and guide themselves through life. This parenting style is often referred to as free-range parenting, which is defined as parents who teach their children skills and based on their level of maturity, allow them freedom, exposing them to the world without supervision so they make their own decisions and figure out life's challenges. To a certain level, it is good, but it can lead to emotional challenges. While this type of parenting might seem liberating, children raised in an unstable, absent home might find themselves in unsafe environments without knowing what to do. Helicopter parents can provide short-term safety and success, but can also damage social skills and independence. Free-range parenting encourages problem-solving and confidence, but can also lead to emotional risks. Neither extreme works on its own, but combining the structure and motivation of both parenting styles can form into Lighthouse parenting, which is a healthy balance of both discipline and freedom. In the example of the student and her father, the emotional damage caused by this level of control is clear in the daughter's reaction. She experienced panic attacks because she felt she had no control over her life, showing just how extreme the situation had become. Extreme cases of helicopter parenting can be described as the overprotective part in parenting. Excessive levels of involvement by parents, which can lead to extreme cases of emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is any type of abuse that involves the continual emotional mistreatment of a child, which can involve deliberately trying to scar, humiliate, manipulate, terrorize, or isolate a child. Those who are emotionally abused may grow up unable to express their emotions fully or understand their full range of emotions, which may result in them being emotionally immature. Being emotionally immature is not being able to assess the situation and express one's emotions with proper restraint. Over the past decade, young adults who are now in college have been struggling with basic social skills that previous generations did not struggle with. Children benefit from knowing that adults are invested in their success. Constant involvement communicates care and concern, which strengthens trust and confidence. Trust allows children to take academic and social risks, knowing they have a safety net if they fail. Parental guidance helps children internalize values such as responsibility, perseverance, and self-discipline. But when parental involvement escalates into micromanagement, its effects become harmful. During a counseling session of a 16-year-old boy, he revealed, "I can't cope at home anymore. My mom is making my life hell. She told me I'm a freak and a shame to the family, and how I always let her down. She controls everything in my life. I hate being at home." This example is a form of emotional abuse and helicopter parenting. The feeling of not being able to be at home or safe there is a feeling no child should ever feel. Home is meant to be a safe space for children to express themselves, and parents are the people they should be running to, not resenting going home to. Over time, this causes them to struggle when faced with situations such as college, workforce, or wherever parental oversight is absent. The harm lies in not caring too much, but in controlling too much. However, in response to overly strict parenting styles, some parents choose a free-range approach that emphasizes independence and self-direction. This parenting style is based on the idea that children learn best through experiences and personal responsibility, rather than constant supervision. Free-range parents don't shelter their children from failure, but they figure that failure is a light event to help children learn. While independence can help children develop important life skills, without guidance and proper boundaries can leave children emotionally vulnerable. Children who are given too much independence without guidance may lack the support they need to handle emotional and social situations. Young people are not fully equipped to assess risk or regulate their own emotions. Their brains are still developing, which means they need adult guidance to help them make safe and responsible choices. As they grow older, this lack of support-seeking behavior can cause problems in work, school, and their own personal relationships. Emotionally, children need reassurance that adults are present and attentive. Parents provide a sense of safety by setting limits and offering guidance. When children are given total freedom, it can sometimes feel like neglect rather than trust. This can lead to insecurity and attachment issues, making it harder for children to form stable emotional connections. Instead of becoming independent, they may develop emotional instability and poor coping strategies. Freedom is an important part of healthy development, but only when it is paired with guidance and support, not unregulated freedom. Why? Because allowing unregulated freedom can be interpreted as a lack of care and concern. A balanced approach ensures that children feel supported while still learning how to become independent and responsible individuals. A good term for this middle ground between helicopter parenting and lighthouse parenting is a term that this thesis will refer to called as lighthouse parenting. Lighthouse parenting is a balanced approach that develops emotionally healthy children who tend to have deep, lasting relationships with their parents. Parenting styles are very different depending on the family and their culture and beliefs. While children need guidance and boundaries in order to feel safe and supported, parents who become too controlling can prevent children from learning how to think and act independently. It is necessary for them to fail and learn by trial and error, rather than getting held along the way. One way to understand this form of parenting would be to use an analogy of a boat and a lighthouse. The lighthouse, representing the parent, stands on the shoreline, shining their light into the sea, while the child, representing the boat, navigates the waters. But if the sea gets too rocky or the boat runs out of supplies, they can follow the light beam back to shore, where the lighthouse stands there strong to support their boat with anything they need. And once the boat feels it is ready, it can go back out to sea and go only as far as the light shines from their lighthouse until they gain enough sea experience. Using this analogy to take the lighthouse parenting approach would be to let your child figure things out on their own as they grow up. When they reach their teenage years, parents should take the approach to adjust their rules and social media and phone usage according to their child's maturity level and personality. They also understand children need to have natural consequences and learn from their mistakes, often helping them work through what went wrong and how to fix it. Other times, a lighthouse parent would let their kid experience the consequences of them not listening. An example would be of a parent letting their kid's room get messy. And since the kid did not listen to their parent the multiple times they told them to clean it, the child would learn why they should clean their room, since it might get too messy for them to find things, which would lead to them ultimately cleaning their room. Teenagers need rules that are fair to the parent and to the child. But teenagers also need to know that they do not make the rules, and their parents still make all their decisions for them. Each kid is different. There is no perfect style to parenting, and there is not a book that tells you exactly what to do step by step. But healthy boundaries should consist of always keeping your child's safety in mind. Kids are capable of making more rational decisions and should be more capable of having a grown-up conversation with their parents on what they would like to do and how to manage their life. And parents should have an open mind, stepping into their children's shoes, remembering what life was like when they were a kid, and remembering how they behaved, what they might have benefited from at that time, and to use that to evaluate what your kid needs. But keep in mind that times have changed. Parenting is not simple. Each extreme does come with benefits. However, the consequences of each extreme are much more noticeable. Helicopter parents provide short-term safety and success, but can also damage social skills and independence. Free-range parenting encourages problem-solving, but can also lead to emotional risks and feelings of abandonment. Neither extreme works on its own, but combining the structure and motivation of both parenting styles can form into lighthouse parenting, which is a healthy balance of discipline and freedom. All parents want in their life is for their child to succeed and to never struggle with mental health, but it is common in children, so the parent wants to do what they think is best. There must be a healthy boundary between not being too free, but having rules in place to keep the child safe, but also open to discipline when the rules are broken. A healthy environment to ask for help when needed, and an environment that benefits both the parent and the child. to prioritize mental health is the best environment that a child should be raised in. Thank you.